Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the Finance 360-degree sessions in which we cover all the relevant and important finance current affairs and the RBI notifications which are important from your examination point of view. Let it be the RBI grade B, the SEBI grade A or NABARD grade A, okay? And in today's session, I have brought for you two very important news articles. The first one is regarding the Reserve Bank of India that has brought the amendment in the PPIs for the commuters. So what is this? What is this whole news article as well as what is this whole amendment that the Reserve Bank of India has brought? So all of this we are going to discuss in today's session, and let me tell you that this is a very big change that the RBI is going to bring, and this is going to help the commuters very much. Okay, so how it is so and what is the guidelines all about, all of this we are going to discuss in today's session. Now the second news article is very interesting. Now the Reserve Bank of India has said something about the Paytm app. So till now the RBI was discussing the restrictions on the Paytm payment bank. Now the Reserve Bank of India has discussed regarding the Paytm app, that is to actually help the Paytm bank and not the Paytm bank but the Paytm app to stay afloat. So what is the idea that the Reserve Bank of India is providing, that we are going to see what are the additional steps that has been announced by the Reserve Bank of India over the Paytm payment bank. All of this we are going to discuss in today's session, okay? And this is a very big news article because this is going to affect many of the customers that have the @Paytm handle, okay? So all of this we are going to discuss in today's session, and they are important from the objective point of view, from the regulatory bodies examination point of view, okay? So good morning Shalini, good morning Sorish, good morning Gaurav, good morning Imtiaz, good morning Mrunal, good morning Nilesh, good morning Ankita, Abhinav and Aditi, good morning. So let's start with the topic, but before that, do subscribe to the YouTube channel and join our Telegram channel, and in the Telegram channel you will get the PDF of the session, okay? So the link for the Telegram channel of EduTap is provided in the description box below. So now starting with the first news article, that is RBI allows the banks and the non-banks to issue the prepaid payment instruments for the commuters, okay, for the travelers we can say. So RBI has amended the master direction on prepaid payment instruments. So there is the amendment that has happened to the master direction on the prepaid payment instruments, where it has allowed the authorized banks and the non-bank PPI issuers to issue the PPIs, to issue the prepaid payment instruments for making the payments across various public transport systems. So first of all, the prepaid payment instrument, they are like the vouchers. You have got the voucher of 500 rupees. You can use this voucher for your makeup products, for your hair styling products, or for your traveling purposes. Maybe you can use this rupees 5,000 in your air travels or something. So these are the vouchers. The vouchers are the kind of the prepaid payment instrument that is already paid. You just have to use it, okay? Next, other than this is wallets. From your bank account, you are transferring the money to the wallets. Now you have, this is the prepaid instrument, that is you have already paid the money, you have already put the money in the wallets. Now from the wallets, you will directly use the money wherever you want to use, for like in the Lapinos, in the Domino's, wherever you want to use the money. From your wallet, you can use the money. So that is the prepaid instruments are like the vouchers, they are like the wallets and such that have the payment in, like that have already got the money from your bank account or from any place else. So what has been said as per the amendment to the master direction on the prepaid instruments, that is the public transport system across the country cater to a multitude of commuters on a daily basis. Lakhs, crores of people travel on the daily basis through the buses, through the trains, through the metros, okay? To provide the convenience, speed and affordability and safety of the digital modes of payment to the commuters, to the travelers, for the transit services, for the travel services, it has been decided to permit authorized banks and the authorized non-banks PPI issuers to issue the PPIs for making the payments across various public transport systems. So this is the idea that has been put forth by the Reserve Bank of India, that to make the traveling and to make the payment for the traveling purposes easier, the RBI has said that the banks and the non-banks PPI issuers can issue the PPI for the travelers specifically. So there are the guidelines that have been released by the Reserve Bank of India that the non-banks and the banks are permitted to issue the such PPIs, such prepaid payment instruments for the travelers. Such PPI shall contain the automated fare collection application related to transit services. So they will be able to make the payments easily through the transit services, for the transit services, and toll collection and the parking also. Transit services, we are talking about the transportation, the public transportation, the buses, the metro, the railways, the waterways, the tolls and parking, all the transportation means, as well as the tolls and the parking. So the PPI shall be enabled only for payments. The PPIs will be for the payments only across various modes of public transport such as the metro, for the payments for the traveling through the metro, for traveling through the railways, for traveling through the airways, waterways, for the tolls and the parking. This PPI that will be provided to only the travelers that want to make such kind of payments. So that is the clarity that you need. That's why this is the PPI. The RBI has said that this will be for the commuters, for the transit services that they want to avail. Okay. These PPIs can be issued without KYC verification. As you know that many of the people in the country that are doing the traveling through railways, through the metro, through the buses, they do not have the bank accounts maybe. So without the KYC verification also, they can be provided with the PPIs with such kind of wallets maybe. That is the digital wallets through which they can do the transactions only for the purposes of public transport, for the purposes of metro, buses, railways, waterways, tolls and parking. So this time the RBI has said by itself that there is no KYC verification required for these particular PPIs. For these particular PPIs that will be given to the commuters for the transit services, for the transit purposes only. For this there is no KYC verification that is required of the holders. These PPI can be reloadable in nature, like your wallets, in like there was the Paytm wallet. So you can, from your bank account, you can transfer the money to the Paytm wallet. Okay, again and again you can do so till a limit. Like there was the UPI Lite also. This facility has also been provided, in which a limit is there. Till this limit you can again and again reload the UPI Lite wallet or something. Okay, so this is reloadable in nature. The amount outstanding in such PPI shall not exceed 3,000 rupees at any point of time. Okay, so this you have to remember carefully, that this is the limit that has been mentioned by the Reserve Bank of India in its amendment, in its master direction, that the amount outstanding in such PPIs, that is for the traveling purposes, that is for the transit services, shall not exceed rupees 3,000 at any point. These PPIs can have perpetual validity. That means till the end of the time they can have the perpetual validity. There is no restrictions in the validity terms in these PPIs. Cash withdrawal is not allowed, because for sure if you want to travel, then only you can pay from this particular PPI. Okay, so cash withdrawal is not allowed. Refund or the funds transfer shall not be permitted in such PPIs. If refund has to happen, that will happen to your main bank account. If the fund transfer has to happen, like for the transfer or the transaction purposes, this can only happen through your main bank account. If or through any other means, the refund or the fund transfer shall not be permitted in such PPIs, or the cash withdrawals shall not be permitted in such PPIs. That is the main idea. Okay, so I hope this is understood. Very clear, is it? Or any confusion? Any confusion till here? See. Any confusion, anyone? Very easy. For the transit purposes, this is the kind of thing that the RBI is bringing for making it easier for all the commuters, for all the travelers that travel here and there. Like on the daily basis, you have to go, like in Mumbai, you must have seen the rush in the railways. So it will become very easy for them to do the transactions for the traveling purposes, to do the payments for the traveling purposes, to avail the transit services and to pay for that. Okay, so clear? Okay, Mrunal and Sorish are saying clear. Nice. So now see, we already had the NCMC. So I hope you have understood or have heard about the NCMC, that is National Common Mobility Card. So when we already have this card, so why is there a need for the PPI? First of all, this card is for the bus, metro, auto, taxi, parking and retail. It is also for the retail, like if you want to buy food and such, you can buy through it. So that's why the RBI is thinking of separating the NCMC from the PPI. The PPI will be for the bus, metro, railways, airways, waterways, parking and for the toll purposes also. That is, this PPI will be completely for the traveling purposes, for the transit services, for availing the transit services, not for the food and such kind of things, not for the retail things, but only for the transit purposes. As well as NCMC, that is the National Common Mobility Card, it is only for the limited areas, it is only for the limited means of transport. But this PPI, that RBI has said that the non-banks and the banks will be able to issue, this kind of PPI will be for all the traveling means, for all the transportation means. Okay, so this is the news article that I hope you have understood. Now coming to the next news article, this is the one that is a little typical. Here you will get to understand many of the small points. Okay, first of all, RBI has asked the NPCI, that is the National Payment Corporation of India, to examine the possibility of migrating the Paytm Payments Bank Limited customers that were using the UPI handle @Paytm to 4-5 other banks in order to prevent any disruption in the payment ecosystem. Okay, so to understand this, let's get to the basic idea that what the RBI is trying to say. Okay, so this is the news article that the additional steps have been taken by the Reserve Bank of India, among which the first or one of the step is that the RBI has asked the NPCI to do some of the things that we are going to discuss in the coming slides. But before that, I hope you remember that the RBI has recently released a press release in which RBI, in exercise of its power under Section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, had put certain business restrictions on the Paytm Payments Bank for the benefit of the customers, wallet holders and the merchants who are availing the banking services from the Paytm Payment Bank. So as I have already told you that the RBI wants to restrict the Paytm Payments Bank, the RBI do not want to restrict the Paytm app. Okay, so the restrictions or the steps that have been taken by the Reserve Bank of India, they have been taken against the Paytm Payment Bank. The RBI do not want to restrict the Paytm app, but RBI wants to restrict the business of the Paytm Payment Bank. RBI has said that no further deposit can be taken or top-ups can be done by the customers in the accounts that is provided by the Paytm Payment Bank, the wallets that have been provided by the Paytm Payments Bank, the FASTags, the NCMC facility that has been provided by the Paytm Payment Bank. The customers will not be able to use it after March 15th, 2024. So this is what the discussion that we had done before. Okay, we have understood all the guidelines that were released by the Reserve Bank of India before. But now we have to understand that what RBI is trying to say for the Paytm app. So now coming to this idea, first of all, I went to the Paytm app. There is the FAQs section that has been released by the Paytm Payment Bank only. So first of all, Paytm Payment Bank, so in the FAQs, it has been mentioned that the RBI has issued a directive that is restricting the Paytm Payments Bank accounts or wallets from accepting any new deposits or allowing the credit transactions after the March 15, 2024. That means you will not be able to deposit the money in the accounts or in your wallets that are connected with the Paytm Payment Bank after March 15, 2024. However, you can do the withdrawals even after the March 15, 2024. You can withdraw your money. Okay. Next is, can I continue to use Paytm Payments Bank wallet? Now the Paytm wallets that you use, are actually issued, all the wallets, that is the Paytm wallets, they are actually issued under the Paytm Payments Bank. That's why all the wallets will stop working after March 15, 2024. That means you will not be able to further deposit the money in the wallets. But you can withdraw your money, that is for sure. Yes, you can continue to use, that is withdraw or transfer the money from to another wallet or bank account until the balance is available in the wallet. But please note that you will not be able to make any deposits after March 15, 2024 in the Paytm payment wallet. FASTag and NCMC card, they will stop working after the March 15, 2024 because they are connected with the Paytm Payments Bank. Now here is the important point that you need to note, that when it comes to the Paytm services, that is the Paytm app, you can do the recharges, you can pay the bills, you can make the transactions, because the Paytm app, the UPI services, you will be able to use as you are using currently. That is, yes, absolutely, you can continue using Paytm app for all your bill payments, for all your recharges, for the ticket bookings and such, like always. Rest assured, Paytm continues to support a wide range of payment options for your convenience. That is, the Paytm is still providing the UPI services. So that is understood, that the Paytm Payment Bank, Paytm Payment Bank, the restriction is on the bank, not on the Paytm app. But the wallets under the Paytm app, the FASTag or the NCMC card under the Paytm app, they will stop because they are directly connected with the Paytm Payment Bank. Now, interesting thing here is that the Paytm app, that is, see, the third party application provider of the Paytm Bank is none other than the Paytm Payment Bank, and this has become a very troublesome situation for even the Paytm app. So I hope you know that the third party application providers, they are the Google Pay, the Phone Pay, the Paytm Payment Bank. They are all the third party application provider. That is, they are providing the application through which we can use the UPI services. Okay. So what you need to understand is that Google Pay, Phone Pay, ये सब क्या है? ये है third party application providers जो कि हमें एक app provide कर रहे हैं ताकि हम UPI services avail कर पाएं. That is the idea, that Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, they are the applications, they are the third party applications. And the Google Pay company, the Phone Pay company, the Paytm Payments Bank, they are the third party application providers that are providing us an application through which we can use the UPI services. So Paytm app is actually being run by the third party application provider, that is the Paytm Payment Bank, and that has become very troublesome for the Paytm company. Okay, so here, as well as another thing that you need to understand is that usually like the Phone Pay, it is a third party application. Phone Pay is a third party application through which we are able to use the UPI services, And to use the UPI services, there is the multi-bank model that is present. So Phone Pay has done the like the payment service providers that are partnered with the Phone Pay. So there have to be the payment service providers that are helping in the transactions through the application. So through this application, there is the transactions that are happening, that is done and that is resolved and that is completed by the payment service providers. So the payment service providers for Phone Pay is Axis Bank and the Yes Bank and such. For the Google Pay, the payment service providers are the HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank. Now guess who is the payment service provider for the Paytm Bank? For the Paytm Bank, the third party application provider is the Paytm Payments Bank, as well as the payment service provider is also the Paytm Payments Bank. So that's why the Paytm app is in a troublesome situation, because the Paytm app, the third party application provider is also the Paytm Payments Bank, as well as the payment service provider that completes the transactions is also the Paytm Payment Bank. Like if you go to the Phone Pay, you will see that you get the ID, UPI ID that is having the like Kritika Sharma @OK. Like this is for the Google Pay, Kritika Sharma @OK ICICI Bank or such, OK ICICI, or Kritika Sharma @OK SDFC, or let's say we are talking about RN Sharma. So if we are talking about the phone pay, so it will have the RN Sharma @AXL. So these are the UPI handles that are provided to you, through which you are able to do the transactions, So these handles are actually the banks that are the payment service providers that are helping a particular application. So for PhonePe, the banks are the, the banks are the Axis Bank that have the handle AXL, the Yes Bank that have the handle YBL, for the Google Pay that has partnered up with the payment service provider that have the handle @OK ICICI Bank and @OK SDFC Bank. Now the problem that is with the Paytm is that the Paytm has the payment service provider, that is the Paytm Payments Bank, and that's why for the Paytm, the UPI IDs that you have are usually your phone number @Paytm. So this is the problem with the Paytm. Now, have you understood the difference between the third party application provider? The third party application provider, they are providing an application for you to do the UPI transactions. Okay. So third party application provider, the Google Pay Services Limited is the company that is the third party application provider that is providing the application Google Pay. There is PhonePe, some company, let's say PhonePe XYZ company is there, that is the third party application provider that is providing PhonePe. Then there is the Paytm Payments Bank, that is the third party application provider for the Paytm. The banks that are the payment service providers under the applications, there are the payment service providers that help the payments to complete and the payments to initiate actually. So these are the Axis Bank and Yes Bank for PhonePe. So PhonePe has partnered with Axis Bank, and multi-bank model has been accepted by the PhonePe. So there are multiple banks that PhonePe has partnered for the handles for the UPI transactions to happen. Okay, understood? So this is the difference between the third party application provider and the payment service providers. Payment service providers are actually the banks that have partnered with a particular application, we can say. Now the problem that has come in front of the Paytm is that the third party application provider of Paytm is none other than Paytm Payments Bank, and the payment service provider, that is the bank that is completing the transactions, is also the Paytm Payments Bank. So this is the problem that has come in front of Paytm app. So now, as the Paytm Payments Bank cannot accept further credits into its customer accounts and wallets after this date, certain additional steps have become necessary. First of all, to ensure seamless digital payments by the UPI customers using the @Paytm handle. If the Paytm Payments Bank is going to stop, that means, or it will not be able to take the deposits, that means this handle, this UPI handle that has been created by the Paytm Payments Bank will also become useless. After March 15, 2024. That is, this is the handle that is operated by the Paytm Payments Bank as a payment service provider for the Paytm app. Now, to minimize the why the RBI does not want the Paytm app to stop? Because then there will be only two major apps in the whole of the country to handle the UPI transactions, that is the Google Pay and PhonePe. They do not have, like, we cannot let only two of the apps to have the whole of the power of the UPI in the country, because the BHIM app is not being used as much as the Google Pay, PhonePe and Paytm. And what if the Google Pay or PhonePe, any one of those apps also do any kind of mistake and they close down? Then there will be the monopoly in providing the UPI services. So RBI do not want the concentration risk. RBI wants to minimize the concentration risk in the UPI system by having multiple payment app providers. So there should be multiple third party application providers. There should be multiple apps that should be there for the handling of the UPI services. So that's why there are the additional steps that have become necessary to ensure that seamless digital payments happen by the UPI customers that are using this kind of handle, because there are millions or at least thousands of the people that are using this handle. I went to my Paytm app and I also saw that even in front of my handle there is @Paytm. So that means I will, if after 15 March it can happen that I might have to stop using the application. But then there will be the concentration risk that will arise. So for this kind of situation, the RBI is saying that we cannot let the Paytm app to stop. So the additional steps are as follows. What RBI has said? RBI has said to NPCI. Now NPCI is actually the payment system operator that operates the UPI system. So it is only the NPCI that can allow any company as a third party application provider. Yes, we cannot let a monopoly come into any part of the business. So PhonePe or Google Pay, they might do any mistake in the future, like the Paytm payment bank have done. Their third party application provider might do some mistake. So then there can be a monopoly or oligopoly, like there are a few market players only, no? Understood? Okay. So now NPCI has been advised by the RBI. It is the NPCI that is the payment system operator that is operating this whole of the payment system. That is the third party application provider. They will provide some application through which the transactions can happen. Now the applications will have to hire some, they will have to partner with some banks that will be known as the payment service providers that will be providing the handles like the AXL handle that is provided by the Axis Bank, the ICICI Bank handle that is provided by the ICICI Bank and such. So they will be initiating and completing the transaction. Their handle will be used for the UPI services. So this is the whole payment system that has been created by the NPCI. Under the NPCI, so NPCI is the payment system operator. Remember this clearly, okay? Now NPCI, because the RBI is not the operator, it is the NPCI that can allow or that can disallow. So RBI cannot take the decision that, okay, I am saying that this should happen. No. In this case, the RBI has to advise or RBI has to ask the NPCI to take the decision, because RBI is operating the whole of the payment system and has the clarity about the nitty-gritties of the payment system. So NPCI has been advised by the RBI to examine the request. Now a request has been sent by the 197 Communication Limited. So this is the company that owns the Paytm app and that wants to have the third party application provider status. That means the third party application provider status will be taken away from the Paytm Payments Bank and will be given to the 197 Communication Limited. Okay, so this is the idea that third party application provider status is being demanded, like the application has been sent by the 197 Communication Limited. So the stoppage or the restrictions are on the Paytm Payments Bank. So now the 197 Communication Limited is requesting the NPCI to provide it the status of the third party application provider, and the 197 Communication is requesting to become a third party application provider for the UPI channel for the continued operation of the Paytm app, the UPI operation of the Paytm app. For sure, the Paytm wallets are going to stop. For sure, the Paytm Fastags, the Paytm NCMC cards are going to stop. But for the Paytm UPI services, the 197 Communication is asking for the third party application provider status so that the Paytm app UPI operations do not stop, because the Paytm Payment Bank will have to stop such operations after March 15, 2024, as it will not be able to take any deposits and such. Okay. BharatPay, Bhim, they do not have, like BharatPay is PhonePe only. So Bhim app do not have as much penetration as the Paytm has already done, as the Google Pay has already done. Even PhonePe is not as strong as Google Pay and Paytm. I have seen very less people using PhonePe. Okay, so as well as in the data points also, the Bhim is comparatively very new. as compared to the Paytm, that is the one of the oldest of the application in our country. It has been further advised that in the event of NPCI, if NPCI grants the status of the third party application provider to the One Communication Limited, then what will happen, that the Paytm app will be safeguarded and the third party application provider of the Paytm app will be OCL, will become OCL. So OCL will become the third party application provider of the Paytm app, and the Paytm app will able to function smoothly for the UPI transactions at least. Okay. So in the event of the NPCI providing the third party application provider status to the OCL, it may be stipulated that @Paytm handles are to be migrated. Now what will happen to the @Paytm handles? Just the OCL or the Paytm app will have to do partnership with multiple banks, with Axis Bank, Yes Bank or other banks, or maybe the new banks will come into the domain that will provide the UPI handles to the Paytm app. The Paytm payment bank has to stop as a payment service provider for the Paytm bank, and all the @Paytm handles will be transferred to some new banks that will get the payment service provider status from the NPCI. Okay. So it has been further advised by the RBI that in the event that NPCI grants the status of the TPAP to the OCL, it may be stipulated that @Paytm handles are to be migrated in a very easy manner from the Paytm Payments Bank to a set of newly identified banks that will become the payment service providers for the Paytm app for the UPI transactions to be handled by these banks. Newly identified banks to avoid any disruption, and anyone in the country that has @Paytm handle, those handle will be self-transferred, will be by the banks itself, it will be transferred to some new handle. Okay. No new users are to be added by the third party application provider, that is OCL. If it gets the status, it cannot have the new customers until all the @Paytm handle customers are converted into some new handle. Okay. So no new users are to be added by the said TPAP if it gets the status until all the existing users are migrated from @Paytm handle to some new handle of some new identified bank, that is the payment service provider. Okay. Until all the existing users are migrated satisfactorily to a new handle. That is the idea, that from the @Paytm may be converted to any new bank, DBS bank or maybe some other bank will get the status. Any new bank can get the status now. For seamless migration of @Paytm handle to other banks, NPCI may facilitate certification of 4-5 banks as payment service providers. So 4-5 new banks are going to get the payment service provider status, and these banks will be the banks that have demonstrated capabilities to process the high volume UPI transactions, the high numbers of the UPI transactions that happen. If they show the capabilities that yes, this particular bank can handle such a situation of handling so many of the transactions, they can get the payment service provider status. This is in line with the NPCI norms for minimizing the concentration risk. So it's not like only one bank. Again, one bank should become the payment service provider under the Paytm bank, and all the customers will have the UPI handles, will have the UPI IDs with that handle only, with the, let's say, you have like some number 6856, your mobile number @AXL or AXY. Let's say this is some new bank. Okay. Now all the people that are using the Paytm app for the UPI transactions all will have this kind of handle. So if these banks fall down, like the Paytm bank has fallen down, right? Paytm payment bank. So what if this bank fall down, and now again we have to convert the handles into some other handles, that will again become troublesome for the customers, because KYC norms may have to be followed again and all of this. So that's why not a single bank but 4-5 banks will get the status of the payment service provider. So to minimize the concentration risk means concentration should not happen of the power. Okay. For the merchants using the Paytm QR codes, that is again powered by the Paytm Payments Bank, because it was the payment service provider, it was the third party application provider for the Paytm app. Now for the merchants using the Paytm QR codes, OCL may open the settlement accounts with one or more payment service provider banks. So the settlement accounts have to be opened with the payment service provider app, because we have discussed about the nodal account. We have discussed about the nodal account and such kind of accounts that is required because the customer wants to send the money to the merchant. So first it will go to some nodal account of the application and then it will be sent to the merchant. Okay. So that is because a merchant, if you remember that the UPI payments can only happen till 20 UPI payments can happen through a ID or through a single like UPI only provides 20 transactions, but for merchant hundreds of transactions happen in a day. So for that, first of all, the customer sends the money, like the money is going from the customer to a nodal account, then it is transferred to the merchant actually. Okay, so for such kind of settlement accounts that is required for the merchants, the OCL, that is the third party, that will become the third party application provider for the Paytm app. So for the merchants using Paytm QR codes, OCL may open a settlement account with one or more payment service provider banks other than the Paytm payment bank. Okay. So further, it is the further clarification that has been given that the migration of the UPI handles as above is applicable only to such customers that have @Paytm handle of UPI. For any customer, if you have OK ICICI, OK HDFC Bank, AXL, YBL, you do not require such kind of conversion. Okay, so that is the idea. Similarly, the customers whose underlying account or wallet is currently with Paytm, if your account or your wallet is with the Paytm, the idea is that you are required to finish the money in your account by 15 March 2024. After this, there will be no deposit that can happen, but you can withdraw your money still. But if you have your account or wallet with Paytm Payments Bank, you are advised to make alternative arrangement with other banks well before 15 March 2024. Why take such worry? Okay. Now it is reiterated that the holders of the FASTag and the NCMC cards issued by the Paytm Payments Bank may make alternative arrangements to avoid any inconvenience because they will become useless after March 15, 2024. All the above actions are undertaken in the sole interest of protecting the customers. It is not like that the RBI has any bias against the Paytm Payments Bank. So actually the RBI has written this in its circular. So this is directly, all the points are directly from the RBI circular. So RBI has mentioned that this is solely in the interest of protecting the customers and payment system of the country from any possible disruptions and are without any prejudice to the regulatory or supervisory actions initiated by RBI against the Paytm Payment Bank. So this is it for today. I hope you have understood everything very clearly. So remember that you can withdraw your money, but you will not be able to make the deposits in the FASTag, in the NCMC card, in the wallets after 15 March 2024. But for sure, if you have some money left out in any of the wallets or FASTag or NCMC, you can surely withdraw even after March 15, 2024. But you will not be able to use it. So this is the first question. Try to answer this question. This is a homework question. Okay. Okay, so this is the second question. I hope you will be easily able to answer this question also. This is also a homework question. So this is it for today. Thank you very much, and I hope you have understood the news article. There is a big announcement from EduTap also that we have brought for you the comprehensive guidebook for RBI, NABARD and SEBI, so that through a single guidebook you can get the information regarding the exam. You can get many of your queries resolved through this guidebook. If you want to know about the syllabus, if you want to know about the pattern of the exam, even if you want to get the previous year questions, you are getting this with this guidebook, and this is absolutely free of cost, and this is to save your time and to save your efforts. You can easily download this guidebook. Okay, so thank you very much everyone. So this was a lengthy session, but I tried to finish the topics. So thank you very much, and if you have any query, you can mail us here, or you can contact us through this number, or you can comment down below. So thank you very much. Have a great day ahead. Okay, if you have